We respectfully request the Sangha of great virtues, for the sake of this assembly and all living beings, please turn the wonderful Dharma wheel to teach and guide us how to end birth and death, leave suffering and attain bliss, and quickly realize non-birth. Cung thính đại đức tặng thịnh, vì thứ pháp hội cấp nhất thiết chúng sanh, thịnh thuyết diệu pháp luân giáo đạo ngã môn, như há liệu sanh thoát từ ly khổ đắc lạc, tất chứng vô sanh. Homage to the Blessed, Noble, and Perfectly Enlightened One. Nam mô Saranto Suchedoye Alahadi San Miao San Putosye. Nam mô Tarakta Toya Daya Alahade Tamil Tambo Da Toa. The unsurpassed, profound, subtle, and wonderful Dharma in 100,000 million aeons is difficult to encounter. Now that I'm able to see and hear, I will receive and maintain it. I vow to fathom the thus come one's true and actual principles. Wu shang sheng she wei miao fa bai jian wan jie nan zao yu, wo jin jian wen de shou qi, yuan jie ru lai chen shi yi. O Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Venerable Jingliang, Venerable YongHua, Venerable left-home people, and all good new advisors, Emitofuo. Hello everyone. Today, all Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Venerable Jingliang, Venerable YongHua, Venerable left-home people, and all good advisors, Emitofuo. Oh, didn't I do it twice already? No concentration whatsoever. 诸佛菩萨、净良大士、师父上人、各位出家人、各位善知识，阿弥陀佛。Did I do Vietnamese or not? Kính thưa chư Phật Bồ Tát, Hòa thượng Thanh Lương, Hòa thượng Tiến Hóa, quý thầy cô và quý vị tri thức A Di Đà Phật. Hello everyone, thank you all for coming. Today is the 30th, the last day of October 2021. We're here to discuss the first chapter of the Avatamsaka Sutra. Okay, we just did the Dharma request. You notice in how the Asian tune is so much more adorned than the English tune. The Western tune is like night and day. The Chinese have this flair for drama, for stuff that we don't have. Can someone please, can the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas send someone here to the U.S. and embellish this tone thing here? Because my disciples are not very artistic. Okay. Also, important matter we need to discuss today is that today is what? Halloween. Happy Halloween, everyone. Yeah. All right, so we should start some kind of Western Mahayana Halloween tradition. Huh? What shall we do? Shall we consider a party? Costume party? Huh? Wouldn't that be cool? That we all, like on Sundays, come to the temple all dressed up in our preferred character. Huh? Wouldn't that be cool? Well, I'm in costume already. All I need now is a mask, more, the face mask. We're up here. Okay, so I think it should be kind of fun for the kids, no? Yeah, and then they bring the kids and the carpet pumpkins. And do kids go trick-or-treating anymore nowadays? They do? Tonight? Anyone? Yeah? You take your kids out and risk their lives for candies? Oh, must be hard, the economy. Okay, very good. So we think about it, huh? We think about Halloween party in the future, okay? We need to cultivate first, become enlightened, and improve our concentration. In terms of sutra lectures, we're doing chapter number 1 because that's an important chapter. It's sort of like mise en scène. When you start a movie, you need to have, situate, the thing and prepare the groundwork for the script. So that's what we're doing. And then after that, we haven't made up on what chapter. It takes us a long time for these people, for some reason, to prepare these slides, okay? So the next, the chapters we'll do for sure. Let me tell you what they are. Chapter 40, Universal Worthy Conducts, okay? Chapter 39, this is Ru Fa Jie, entering the Dharma realm. That's important, okay? There's a chapter I'd like to do is chapter on transferences, okay? Those are important chapters we will do. And we'll do it towards the end when hopefully by then I'll be enlightened or something, So we save the best for last, okay? No, I'm not enlightened yet. Is that the question? I'm a 4th-stage arhat. This morning, someone proclaimed I have a 4th-stage arhat. I said, oh, really? Wow, it's a promotion. Yes, Ahong.
We respectfully request Master to speak of the crowns.
The what?
Chapter on crowns.
Oh, the grounds, for sure, absolutely. See, you have to remind me what's important. One chapter I like to do is probably chapter 11. It's like pure conduct or something like that. I believe Master YongHua didn't explain that much. My goal is to try to add more, a little bit, to what he did. So I don't want really to duplicate what he explained, okay? So we branch out a little bit, get out from under his shadow a little bit. So I remember when I was a novice, I attended his rock star monk explained chapter 11, pure conduct, and what I heard is that we sat there for an hour and a half, and he went from a mantra to the next, to the next, to the next. So he decided that this is what happens when you receive the precepts sash. So you recite this mantra, and then when you drink a cup of water, you recite this mantra, and so forth and so forth. And I think maybe we do that. We might have some insights. I don't know. Depends on what we have for lunch. Okay, so we do. I like to do that thing because I understand. I think Master YongHua didn't explain much either in the translation. So you folks have some chapters that you're interested. Let me know, because I have only a few things. I'm lazy, you know that. So I only have a few chapters I feel that I should explain to you. Okay. Other than that, the other chapters, I'm open. Okay. So you look at it yourself, as if you will, right? But those are that's the plan for the future. The prologue is very difficult. I think they are struggling. So we go as far as we can. We run out of slides, we stop. And you're stopping the progress. So your fault. All right, so we're on slide 8 or 9. Okay. Adornment. Okay, adorn. I don't remember we talked about adornment. Okay, adornment is the natural result of your cultivation. Adornment fundamentally is called adornment. People think of it in terms of gold, in terms of 7 jewels, in terms of beautiful things. Okay, to me, those are the results of your heart. Okay, those outside things are reflection of your heart. So when you're surrounded by adornments, by beautiful things, it's because your heart. Okay, it's from your heart. All right, you agree, disagree? And for example, people who are pretty, usually it's from the heart. Or never mind about pretty people, handsome too. What about the people who are angry, like asuras? Asuras, men, are very, very ugly. Oh yeah, you know. So that's why your facial feature is actually a reflection of your heart. Okay, so Master Xuanhua, for example, I like to say this, and I haven't gotten in trouble yet. When he was younger, his face is like, some of his disciples, triangle, long triangle. That's a smart aleck face. Okay. Top heavy, too much thinking, too much processing. Okay? And here is that I am not into physiognomy, but what does it mean? You Chinese people, you experts in this field, what does it mean when your thing is this sharp? You're skinny. No? What does it mean? Okay. Think too much, talk too much. Don't talk. Master Xuanhua at first is like that, He's smart aleck. And then later he became older and became enlightened and so forth, and he started, I think the photos I saw him in the US, his face became square, okay? And that's balance between brains and mouth. Does it make sense? Okay. So adornment are the reflection of the accomplishment of the goodness from your heart. Next, 10, sutra. Sutra is important to go through these things as to remind ourselves what sutra means. Sutra is a Sanskrit word. Those are the texts, teachings from the Buddha himself. These are important. So the Indian call it sutra because it carries multiple meanings. That's how versatile sutras are. The sutras are supposed to string together. Okay, He strings together these beautiful principles in Buddhism, in Mahayana. These principles are so insightful that I think we have been investigating sutras for a long time. Somebody reminded me they've been with me for 15 years now. Can you imagine? 15 years. We've been investigating sutras for 15 years. Go figure. That's impossible. I've never done anything this consistent for 15 years in my entire life. Okay? So it's so beautiful, the principles that are marvelous, I feel, okay? And the sutras are designed to gather in meaning to draw in, okay? People like you, okay? Meaning that you are ripe to excel, if you will. You planted the seeds in the past for you to encounter the Dharma in order to, to do the impossible, to do the noble things. Okay? How so? The heart again. Okay? People aspire to great things because of their lofty aspirations in their heart. Now, constant. Okay? Constant sutra means that this teaching is the ultimate truth. Okay? Only one truth throughout throughout time. That's why the Buddhas, when they speak of sutras, one Buddha speaks a sutra. All Buddhas in the future will all speak the same kind of principles, same teachings. Only one teaching. All right? A method. Sutras are designed to help you develop samadhi. Okay? So sutras actually are not as clearly spelled out in sutras, but sutras are the theory of your practice that the patriarchs then now begin to understand, because I see the other guys not doing anything. So I see why people are not improving. It's because when you read sutras alone, it's not enough. You don't understand what to do. So the patriarchs have to then open their mouth and say, I explained to you what the Buddha means by that. In order to get, fourth stage arhat. Oh, he's gone already. Okay. When you get to fourth stage arhat, okay, the patriarchs say you need to do these things in their own ways. Okay? So, for example, the Linji people, I recently read about Linji, what great Master Linji taught. He taught sutras, Yukagara, which I feel is not very high level. And he taught about the Huatou, which is also mid-range as well. Chan schools, Huatou is not very high. Unfortunately, I don't feel it's that high. Anyway, I haven't seen people that reach high levels at Huatou anyway. So these methods, this Huatou is a method of doing that will help you understand. Okay, so it's based on the sutras. Okay, the Huatou teaching is based on the sutras, the sutra teachings. All right, and also meaning of sutra is bubbly spring. Okay, bubbly spring is that refreshing? I don't know. I prefer something with gas. Okay, so bubbly spring to me invokes an image of gentleness. Buddha's teaching is very, very gentle, very caring. Okay, and also it also conveys to me bubbly bubbly spring conveys to me the idea of effortless. The practice of Buddhism is effortless. It's natural. Okay? It's not contrived. It's very natural. So that's why once you reach a certain level, I start paying attention to how you walk, how you stand, why you hunch like this. Okay? And so forth. So because it's not natural to our nature to be like that. All right? The Buddhist practice, Mahayana practice, is natural. It's effortless. Okay? And one more thing about bubbly spring. I don't think the Chinese explain it this way, but today we celebrate birthdays, so I take liberties, more liberties than usual. Bubbly springs also to me conveys the idea of unrelenting. It bubbles up and eventually it fills up whatever vessel it is, whatever area, it keeps on bubbling, it keeps on oozing up, bubbling up, okay? So it's unrelenting. Okay? Just like the Buddha Dharma. Buddha Dharma is unrelenting. We set up these goals and we systematically, invisibly go after them. Okay? So for example, you see when the Buddha Dharma were transmitted from India to China, the patriarchs came from India. They said, in the future we send a dark-skinned person with a big beard to China. And then later on, so-and-so will happen. So they have this master plan, if you will. All right? Another meaning of sutra is carpenter's plumb line. Plumb line is not so much, to me, not so much about straight and so forth. To me, it's about how you combined. Okay, how you merge. You have a standard for merging. Because you cannot make things without merging them. So the sutras are the standards for the various schools. For example, the Weiyang school, Linji school, and so forth, Tantra school, and so forth. Those are the guidelines for us. Okay, how to create this puzzle. Okay, solve this puzzle. All right? And finally is a path. Path is where you tread on something that somebody has done before. Okay, this is very important. This is so critical in Mahayana. We learn Mahayana by seeking a good no advisor. Remember that? That's a Chinese wisdom. The Westerners don't have that. Okay, they have mentor concept in the corporations. You go, you learn from your advisor in your PhD program, so forth. In Mahayana, you want to learn Mahayana, look for a good no advisor first. Forget about learning. Forget about reading. Forget about whatever. Okay, yeah. And just contrary to the worldly pursuit of knowledge. Okay, we don't. Yeah. The worldly people, they look up things on the internet, on books and so forth. We choose a good no advisor first and read what we're told to read. Does it make sense? So we save a lot of time, folks. The Westerners, they waste time. They beat around the bush, unfortunately. I wasted so much time. I became a novice, and my master died on me. And so for 4.5 years, I muddled around, not knowing what to read. I read Hinayana texts because no one could explain to me what Mahayana texts were or cared to explain. And then I mess around with Tibetans and the Japanese and the Vietnamese and so forth. Okay, and ultimately I was unhappy with all of them except for Mahayana texts. Okay, so it's a lot of time wasted. Okay, which made me very unhappy. Okay, so anyway, so in Mahayana you follow a good advisor, and maybe it's meant for me to walk that path. It's because if I had Master YongHua, I would probably still be at the DRBA and talking about what he does, what he taught, interpret what he taught, instead of doing what we're doing right now. Okay, so it's good to have a pathways that's laid out by the sutras. Okay, and it saves us time. All right, so that's why we want sutras are the major vehicle for teaching Mahayana. To me, more so than Shastras. Excuse me. Okay? Because Shastras were created, were spoken by the Bodhisattvas. Okay? And you ask me, should I spend time researching the Buddha's teaching or Bodhisattva's teaching? I will go Buddha's first. And by the time you finish researching the Buddha's teaching, you're probably dead already. Sorry, I'm brutal because I'm old. I can't afford to waste time anymore. All right? Next, 11. And we should look at the type of teaching based on the classification from the Tian Tai teaching. They're very scholarly. So they broke down the Buddha's teaching into 5 periods. First period, Avatamsaka, that's the very first time he taught. He spoke, he taught. He spent 21 days teaching the Bodhisattvas alone. Arhats are not allowed to listen. Okay? Arhats is too low. So they can't listen. Okay? And the next period after that, those 21 days, he started teaching the Agama to his 5 attendants or his human disciples. Okay? And that's about 12 years. Oh, it took 12 years, okay, to explain that. And then next, the Agama is where he taught these. His early disciples were basically cultivators from the externalists, the yogis and so forth, the Brahmins and so forth. They got the 8th samadhi, and they couldn't go any further. So the Buddha came along and spoke Dharma to them, and instantly they went from 8th to first stage Arhat. Okay, I can't tell you this story. It's too personal. Anyway, then people will think I'm a first stage Arhat. It's probably true. So it took the Buddha 12 years. And these people are kind of slow, 12 years to teach. Please. And then after that, he started teaching Vaipulya, which is the connective teaching. Okay, the connective teaching meaning that he says, this Agama thing, I know you're enamored with it, but it's something better. So that's what connective is. From where you are, I'm going to start preparing you, paving the road for you to go to something much better. So that's Vaipulya. Okay? I'm transitioning you. We are in transit, if you will. All right? So message here is that don't be satisfied. Right. And 12. And the next thing is about Prajna period, where you learn to become enlightened. Okay? So he spent 20 years. That tells you that how important it is. Mahayana is about helping you become enlightened. Okay? So we're talking about big enlightenment, not small enlightenment of the fourth stage Arhat. Although I would be very happy if I reached fourth stage Arhat. Okay? So, because the Chinese and the Vietnamese who have been brainwashed into believing that fourth stage Arhat is like so cool. Okay? But this Prajna thing here, you actually become enlightened. Okay? And we have real wisdom. I like to say it recently. When you enlighten, that means that even though you still make mistakes, even though you still don't understand, but you can be taught. Whereas a fourth stage Arhat, when you tell them they're wrong, as evidenced in the Dharma Flower Sutra, the Lotus Sutra, the Buddha says, I'm about to talk about something far better than fourth stage Arhat. 5,000 Arhats stood up and left. And that's stupidity right there. Excuse me. I should not call Arhat stupid until I get there. All right? So that's why Arhats to us is not very, very bright, because they hear great teachings, especially from a great teacher like Shakyamuni Buddha, and they dare question him. That's stupidity. There's no other excuse for that. I'm sorry. Okay? So, in our sutras, we have proof that fourth stage Arhat, between us, just between us, okay, are still not very bright, contrary to what the Chinese would like us to believe. Okay? I happen to disagree. Okay? Arhats are not very bright. Okay? Come to think of it, I don't want to become fourth stage Arhat. How about you? Okay, so 22 years, that's how important it is. 22 whole years. Okay? It's because he covered all the grounds thoroughly. Okay? So it's worthwhile to investigate this. Okay? However, I don't like to. When you say 22 years, it's too slow for me. I don't have 22 years, do you? Seriously, before you go to the Dharma Flower, I'd like to go back to number 1. 21 days, how's that? We are American, atomic age, huh? Nuclear power. Okay? So, 22 years, that's why, this is funny because that's why we intend to explain only the Vasha Sutra, that's it. And the Heart Sutra, that's it. Nothing else. Nothing about Yukagara or Vasubandhu, whatever. Okay, too slow. Okay, we don't have time. Okay, the kids are growing up. I look around now, they're about taller than me now. Some of them makes you feel so old. And the last period is a Dharma Flower Nirvana, where you learn about the state of the Buddhas. You become a Buddha yourself. What's the difference between enlightenment and Buddha? You're just enlightened, but you're not a Buddha. You haven't perfected your wisdom yet. Your wisdom still has holes. That's why the banana flower says, you can be a Buddha yourself. That's a very important message. Do not settle for less. Don't let your wife tell you otherwise. You know what I mean? Okay, you can be a Buddha, not just her second. Okay, next, 13. I think I'm more sexist than anything else, ultimately. Xianshou, okay, is another school. That's where they specialize in the Avatamsaka teachings. They break them down into 5 periods too. Their teaching period is small, okay? Small, that's when the Buddha started teaching, okay? Talk about 75 Dharma, emptiness of people, not the Dharma and so forth. Don't bother. Initial, okay, that's when you start the vehicle, or the great vehicle, and final, the actual teaching, okay, and that would be worth going into. The other 2, ignore them, okay, and then this is why we want to have, when you do sutras, you want to have this kind of introduction, so that when you get to this point, say, where does the sutra belong to? Which classification? See, that's my point. If it belongs to the wrong time period, move on. Does it make sense? It saves us time. And then it's a scholarly thing. Okay. After you become enlightened, you can go into this. I just abhor scholarly stuff because I'm stupid. Okay, and a certain teaching. Okay, this is more fun. Okay, when you practice Buddhism, it's about certain knowledge. That's the fun. That's the essence. That's the cream of Buddhism. Okay, and we need to have more people understand about the certain teaching. Master YongHua didn't leave a lot of people. We need to change that. Actually, I'm alarmed. They're not breaking through. It's alarming. Anyway, just number 5 is perfect. That's Avatamsaka. Okay, certain still have to open the boundaries and make it infinite. All right, because there's a danger of, number 1, you're a recipient of certain teaching, but you don't understand it. Okay, so you become complacent. Okay, you think you're better than others. I see it in my own eyes. Okay, and that's why you need to look at the perfect teaching and say, the sky is the limit. The Dharma realm is the limit. We are nothing. Our accomplishment is nothing. Get that straight. We accomplish nothing yet in the scope of things. Be more humble. All right? Any questions? I know a lot of it's more scholarly. I don't understand most of this, by the way, so. Okay? chapter 1. The title is The Wondrous Adornments of the Rulers of the World. Okay? These characters, okay, are what makes our world organized, orderly. Okay? We need order. It's not haphazard at all. It's no anarchy. It's order in the Dharma realm. You cannot say that I am belong to a certain political party and we do as you please. No, we still are. What do you say that? What's that word? To your boss. Huh? No. No. Good Lord. Oh, God. Huh? Responsible to your boss. What's that word? You have to answer to your boss. What's that? That's adjective. Come on. And you teaching my Sanghans English? Seriously? You cannot be serious. Submissive? No, that's for women. You still have to answer to your boss. That's a word. Huh? That's too wide. You still have to answer your boss. You are still accountable. Thank you. Accountable. Is that from Asian or what? A white guy. Oh, you guys are so racist. I know I am, but yeah. Okay, so it's beautiful because I find it interesting. I see these people, kings and queens, and all these things, and they're not what you expect them to be. Okay, for example, I read Master YongHua's stuff about the Christian God, Daniel's boss. Okay, and I used to look down upon him. I said, "Oh, you are low level. You are God. Come on, I teach gods, supposedly." But it turns out he's actually a bodhisattva. I said, "Oops, I'm only 4-stage arhat. How can I look down upon bodhisattva?" You see, so it's kind of interesting. And then this sutra is very kind of fun. You go into all these details of how he lives his life. He has and don't tell Daniel this. You know how many wives did he have, you think? Okay, never mind about wives. One main wife, we all know that, okay? But many small wives. And then, how about girlfriends? Concubines? Countless! I'd like to go up there. It's so fascinating. The world is so... It's not what you think, what people, like us to think. Only in Avatamsaka Sutra, we're free from all these inhibitions and so no, it's taboo, whatever. No, it's all over. God is having so much fun. All right. Okay. So 16. Oh, it's not for Koreans, clearly. They're not supposed to have fun. Okay. The world, okay. This is triple worlds, okay. Each galaxy or triple world refers to a Buddha land, all right? Whether Buddha lands could be pure or impure, or triple world, okay. A world here is triple world, so it's one galaxy, if you will, okay. So we're talking about the people who rule, the rulers in our world. So far, so good. There are different types of rulers in our world. rulers of the mountains, rulers of the bodies of water, okay, rulers of the earth, and so forth, okay? All those are rulers, okay? Wondrous, inconceivable, okay? These are inconceivable because they belong to the bodhisattvas. Bodhisattva things are always wonderful. They're all wonderful. It's way beyond your comprehension. Trust me. Cannot explain to you. Okay? To describe it to you. But that's about all you deserve. Okay? You don't get it, but it's okay. We get to hear about these wondrous adornments they have. Okay? They have, banners, they have lights, they have jewel gems, and all kinds of great things. All right? So, according to Master Ching Liang, he broke it down for us. He says, this is how the Avatamsaka teaching is structured. Okay? So, preserving this for you. So, the first section, number 1, is a general revelation of having heard. Okay, and so forth, and so forth, and so forth. So far, so good? All right. Thus I have heard is a text.
如是我闻.
Thank you. Commentary 19. We're moving very fast. We have a lot to cover, folks. Slow me down. You don't like it, or you have a question. But otherwise, I'm going to go as time allows. As fast as okay. Thus I have heard. Okay, this is it says here, powerful assertion that fulfills the requirement of faith. Okay, I here refers to a sagely person, Ananda. Ananda is actually a bodhisattva, not a fourth-stage arhat. That's why we have to take him seriously. This is what happens to the bodhisattvas. Many of them disguise themselves. Okay, and so one of them, one particular bodhisattva disguised himself as Ananda. Okay, and followed the Buddha so that he could later help people transcribe the sagely teaching. Okay, and heard here, he says, I heard through my ears the Buddha's teachings himself because I was there, said Ananda. But also, I heard it not only through my ears, but I heard with my true nature, with my Buddha nature. All right? And this is what I heard. So the thus is a qualification. He said, this is what the Buddha said. Okay? So, 如是, you should learn the Chinese characters here because thus is really not a good translation. Okay? I think we should all learn a few Chinese words because those are important concepts. 如是, 如是. So it's 如 is thus, unchanging, permanent. 是 is that the truth. Okay, this is how it is. That's the way it is. All right. So this is the sagely truth that I personally heard myself. Okay. So this is why, because this teaching is so important, you can only afford to entrust it to a bodhisattva, a sagely person. All right? So this is an assertion. I cannot tell you who I really am. But this is what I heard. And you can believe me that I'm a sagely person. I mean, Ananda said that. I didn't say that. 2,
I was wondering about Ananda, because I remember the story of Ananda, and he wasn't yet enlightened and was having difficulties with his girlfriend, and you're saying that he was a bodhisattva. Do you mean after he became enlightened, or the whole time?
it's a fair question, and I'm not sure I can answer. It's a good question. Why didn't they ask Master YongHua? Why do they have to answer you? This is so important. You're absolutely right. I mean, we're talking about a sagely person, and we cannot, you can't afford to entrust this important teaching to someone who has a hard time learning. You understand? If they're that stupid, you tell them, I disagree. Why? Okay. How can you trust these people? So that's why this person has to be a sagely person. So the question is, but he apparently was confused. He's confused by these prostitutes. You remember that story? Huh? She recited this mantra here, and he's under her spell. How can you let a bodhisattva be like that? Okay? And then the Buddha had to save him. Okay? And then he came back, and then the prostitute, certified the fourth stage Arhat. How embarrassing! You're a professional. You've been studying from the Buddha, and then this woman here only heard the Buddha preach to her, and she got third stage Arhat, and he got to first. Okay, so that's not acceptable. What kind of bodhisattva is this? What are we missing? Okay, what happened is it's all make believe to teach us. Because reality of it is that you may be a bodhisattva, but you still have to go through cultivation before you become a bodhisattva again. So when you get into your mother's womb and stay there, you're born confused, usually like everyone else. Okay? And then because of your blessings, your prior blessings, you naturally encounter these conditions that will enable you to become a bodhisattva. Okay? So that's what happened to Ananda. Ananda, part of his contribution is to show us how difficult it is to escape prostitutes. What else? You see? Beware. Do not go there. Among other things, of course. Does it help? So you see, you cannot be, don't be fooled into these appearances, that people say, oh no, he does it, therefore he must be an idiot. No, it's bodhisattvas. They do their own things. It's not something we can possibly understand. So that's why, if you're not a bodhisattva, shut up. Don't comment on them. Okay, this is stupid. It's just like. You open your eyes and you see a little bit and you say, oh wow, I know so much. I've seen the truth. What truth are you talking about? You only see a little bit and you think you know the truth. How stupid can you be? Six purposes when sutras start with thus I have heard, 如是我闻, distinguish Buddhist sutras from other non-Buddhist texts. Okay, have you guys read the Master YongHua stuff, right? Yes. And the only Buddhist sutras begin with the "Thus I have heard." Okay, so that's important. Number two, so you recognize the Buddhist stuff immediately. Okay. Number two, end assemblies, debates, and contentions. Monks and nuns like to fight. They think they're right. They insist they're right. And it started with the Indians. The Indians train themselves by fighting, debating constantly. You know, I'm right, I'm more right than you. If you're more right, then why have to fight? You have to fight because you have to prove that you're right. If you're right and you see the other person so stupid, so wrong, why bother? Does it make sense? Okay, so that started in India, and then went to Vietnam, and went to China, and all these places. Okay, so this happened during in India when the Buddha died, and Ananda got into the Dharma seat to start reciting these sutras, and thus I have heard. Okay, I mean, with how thus I have heard, and they said, "Ooh, he looks like the Buddha. Must be Shakmini Buddha," and so forth. All these people have different theories behind it. So, and so Ananda opened his mouth and said, "Thus I have heard," meaning I'm not the Buddha. Okay? So there's a verse here, okay? It says contention is a mind of winning or losing. It contradicts the way. I keep it here because not so much that I wanted to reiterate this for you, but it's only to put emphasis for you. Okay? In particular, our pathway, we talked about sutra as path. Our pathway is not to fight. There's no need to fight. Okay? Because fighting shows that you're attached to the 4 marks. Okay? And if you're attached to these 4 marks, you're easily distracted. And therefore, you cannot enter samadhi. Okay? I watch people, especially my trainees, fight constantly. I chuckle and say, "You're so stupid." To fight is to be stupid. It's to do stupid things. So it's not about right and wrong. It's about yourself. Are you fighting? Do you have a fighting mind? Then it's your problem. If someone else is wrong, it's not your problem. But when you fight, it's your problem. You fight and say, "You're wrong, I'm right," then you have no wisdom. Absolutely not. All right? Next, the 4 marks are important for you, these in concepts. In Mahayana, here concept of mark, okay? This mark where we identify something by these marks. Mark of a self, the 4 marks are mark of a self, mark of others, mark of living beings, and mark of life. This is explained in the Avatamsaka Sutra. All right, it's worth repeating this because this is how you learn about enlightenment. Okay, so enlightenment has to do with marks. Number 3 reason why we have thus I have heard is to eliminate additions and deletions, meaning that this is what the Buddha exactly said. Okay, so who are you to dare modify or add or subtract? Okay, so it helps saves time, and we know that it's an accurate text. Evolved Taoism and Dharma assembly, and people said, okay, did Ananda become a Buddha? Okay. And did another Buddha come here to speak Dharma to them? Or maybe Shakyamuni Buddha has not entered Nirvana yet. Okay, and so forth. So saves time. Okay, thus I have heard. Thus I have heard. Okay, is to produce faith. Why? These are the words of the Buddha. Okay, so you can believe them. Don't believe me. Believe the words from the Buddha. They're not from me. Okay? So in general, why are you here? You're here because you're learning about the words of the Buddha. Okay? And when you're ready, your contribution would be to inspire faith, not build temples, not print sutras. Those are secondary, even though a bigger temple helps. Or statues. Go ahead, Q&A.
Master, in the past you mentioned that if someone was being mean to you, you can be mean to them. Then Anthony heard from someone that violates the principle of no fighting. So how would you resolve that?
I didn't. I just became mean to them and beat the heck out of them. So they never dare beat me, become mean to me anymore. So it's no more fighting in the future. So you fight once for the sake of never more fighting the rest of my life with that person. So, hey, listen, I don't know where you came from, but where I come from, we like to fight. Truthfully speaking, I am an asura. For me to say I don't fight is to lie through my teeth. Okay? I love to fight. What else can I say? So when someone comes to me and challenges me, so and guess who my idol is? Li Tiểu Long. You know what that is? Xiaolong. Li Xiaolong. Li Xiaolong. Bruce Lee. Who else? Now he's become Donnie Yen. You don't watch Kung Fu movies. You guys are so boring. I cannot stand you guys. You're too white. No. How can you say you ever taught as a surah? Haven't, clearly. Okay. These teachings, no fighting is for people like me, asuras who like to fight. So that's why Master YongHua said, "No fighting, boy." I said, "But you're dead already. Who's gonna stop me now?" I know I'm joking, but there is a message behind it. When we talk about no fighting, how can there be no fighting? Explain to me why there's no fighting. It's a good question, but Do it. Give him a knife. Don't harm him. The tires will do. Okay, you guys only learn about theory, okay? And that's why you guys really don't know anything at all. You say, there's no fighting. But when you tell Chan Phong behind you, no fighting, you think it's going to stop him? Huh? Seriously. Is it going to stop him? Chan Phong, answer him. If Master YongHua tells you no fighting, would that stop you? Yes. But if I told you no fighting, would that stop you? Hell no, is the answer, right? You're not my teacher. What are you talking about? Okay, you understand my point, the point I'm making? The point I'm making is that in order for you to dare teach no fighting, you better be able to enforce it. Because no one will take you seriously. You cannot set up rules without having enforcers and executioners. All right? So if you said, well, no fighting. Okay, so I don't fight with you. And then a demon comes and tries to kill you before Dewey has a chance. You want to remind me there's no fighting? So the demon wants to kill Anthony, and Anthony look at me, Master, no fighting, you hear? No fighting. Go ahead, Q&A.
Hold on. Yeah.
Amitofuo Master, a quick question. What if Asura keep fighting with you?
The Asuras? Oh,
Yes.
that's what we do. That's who we are. Okay? The nature is to fight. So what happened is, Jew, don't worry, I adore you, so I won't fight with you. I only fight with people that I need to fight with. Okay? So you don't have to worry about, So no fighting is a guideline to help you look at yourself. Okay? It's not meant to be absolutely no fighting. When you have no wisdom, then absolutely don't fight. Okay? But you get the Master YongHua's level. He fights demons. He fights ghosts. Okay? He fights externalists. How else? What else can he do? I mean, they come and attack his disciples. They come and invade his temples. He has to fight them. You understand? Because the fighting is a guideline for unenlightened people. Okay? To help them become enlightened. If you keep on fighting, you will have a hard time becoming enlightened. Guaranteed. So after you become enlightened, then you can fight as much as you like. Go ahead. Yeah, give Anthony another chance. Don't hurt him yet, do it.
Thank you, Master.
Q&A. And I cite Master Bodhidharma, the patriarch, the first Chinese patriarch. He had a bunch of disciples who like to fight, so he taught them Shaolin Kung Fu. So that's how they became enlightened. You see. So you folks shouldn't be rigid with all these guidelines. These guidelines are for confused people. Okay, but in order to help you avoid making mistakes that you regret later. Okay, but it's not as rigid as you think. If it's like that, when you're like absolutely no fighting, then what's the problem with that? It's not the middle way. You still attach the mark of fighting and not fighting. That's not a middle way at all. Understand? All right, so point number 5 here. Okay, and this is what I like to emphasize to Jewel Kong. Your job is not about anything other than developing faith. Not about getting more disciples, not about making money, okay? Not about becoming famous. It's about helping people develop faith in Mahayana. How do you do that? By speaking the truth, number 1. Number 2, by helping them, helping the people, helping living beings, put them first, put them before us. What happened to Jewel Kong? They're sleeping probably. Okay? So the objective is, so what we do is to develop faith. Okay? It's not about Master YongHua. YongHua is dead already. His time is over. Now it's our time, our responsibility. We have no more excuses. Okay, so he inspired faith in us, in my generation. So it's my generation's job to inspire faith in the 3rd generation. Yes, 6.
This is from Derek. Master, how can I get out of a situation where I find myself fighting someone?
Divorce her. Excuse me. Who is it from again? No fighting. Derek, you confused. Therefore, no fighting. You can have it. That's what I would do. Here, take it. I hope you're happy. Okay? So Buddhism is not about numbers. It's about inspiring true faith in the people like my master did with my generation. Okay? We have faith in him. We have faith in the Dharma he taught, even though we had no faith for each other. It's not the main thing. It's not about having faith in each other. It's about having faith in our master, our Dharma. Okay? Same thing here. Okay? Your generation has to inspire faith. Okay? All right. This is why Buddhism is dying. This is why Catholicism is dying. Mormonism is dying, because they're losing faith. The faithful have no more faith. Because they now measure themselves with temples, with bank accounts, with press coverage. Okay? But they fail to see the most important thing about why Shakyamuni Buddha spent 50 years of his life teaching us is in order to produce faith in the Mahayana. He never cared for temples. Never cared if the externalists have more disciples. It's about the superior people who have faith in the ultimate truth, so that they can themselves contribute accordingly. And pass on that faith, next generation. I never heard that. I never heard that from my peers. We're so worried about temples. We're so worried about money that we lost track of this big picture. Religion is nothing but faith. You have to inspire faith. Whether you're Catholic or Jewish, the same thing. You have to inspire faith. And faith in the ultimate truth. That kind of faith is undying, folks. It becomes stronger over time. It doesn't weaken. It doesn't get weaker by time at all. After you die, next time you see this thing here called Mahayana, the faith will still be there, and it gets to be stronger in the future. The Mahayana lives on inside of you. Wherever you go. Because that faith is indestructible. I would like young people who don't understand about Mahayana, you teach young people about the faith in goodness, the faith in believing that your life is meant to do something important. What kind of important things? To be a good person, be a decent person, to contribute, to repay the kindness from your parents, from your ancestors, from your teachers, people who did you favors. It's not about you. Don't worry about yourself. Be a good person. And it starts first with being grateful. That's how you become grateful to these people who did you a lot of favors for you. Be a good person. That's all we ask. All I ask of you, be a good person. Be a better person. The rest doesn't matter. Bitcoins goes up and down. It makes me lose sleep. Oh God. Good thing we are not taking cryptocurrencies yet. We should though. To hedge, to hedge it out. Anyway, you understand? This faith thing here, it's not, I'm sorry, my master did not do justice to this. He never emphasized this to his disciple, to my generation. I wasn't there, maybe he did, but I don't see it in my peers. Because this faith here inspires people to do good. Okay? That's what the Buddhas of the 3 periods of time teach. Number 6.
This is from San Jose Daniel. Master, how would a Buddhist trying to practice the middle way and be pure and become a bodhisattva go about dating, marriage, and things like that?
Marry a good woman. How else? Make 4 good babies. And don't fight with your wife. Let her have it. Daniel asked the kind of question that may take me an entire lifetime to figure out. And you expect words of wisdom from me? Oh, good luck. Okay, number 2, 26. Okay, so first is faith. Remember that? See, the first thing that this sutra talks about is faith. Okay, I heard this incredible thing here, and you should believe it. Okay, number 2, on slide 26. Okay, now it says, is it true? But what's your reference? Who spoke? The host, meaning the speaker. Time, when? What proof do you have? Where? Are there relics? Are there thumbprints? Okay. So at the time, the Buddha was in the country of Magadha.
一时佛在摩羯提国。
So situated, the situation described the mise en scène, if you will. So he was in the country of Magadha, okay, central eastern part of India, where the Buddha attained enlightenment and spoke Dharma to enlightened sentient beings. Magadha means pervasive intelligence and wisdom, and without poison or harm. All right? Next. 29. There are 6 requirements for something to be classified as a sutra. Okay? Requirement of faith. Number 2, requirement of hearing. Number 3, requirement of time. Number 4, requirement of host. 5, requirement of place. And 6, of who was present in there. And this is important. These help you see the big picture. Okay? Okay? Faith. And 30. Faith is fulfilled by thus I have heard. Okay? So this is a Dharma that I believe, and therefore you should believe too. Hearing. Hearing is that Ananda says, I heard this personally, and is consistent with what I uncovered when I became enlightened. Okay? So I am living proof of this teaching, of the results of this teaching. Is it far so good? Okay? I'm the living proof. You're looking at a person who's a product of this thing. Okay? Time. When it happened, is it 21st century, 20th century, whatever? Okay? And so instead of being that precise, they chose to say, I heard, at some point in time. And that's being precise enough. Let's not be too sticky on the actual time point. Number 6.
This is from Derek. Master, I find myself fighting my mom on things like career, politics, money, things that are important to me. It starts as a normal conversation and devolves into fighting. How can I get out of this?
Don't divorce her. Number 3. You can't divorce her. It's the correction. She's your mom. What are you doing finding your mom? Can you find your mom? What kind of person are you? If I were you, I would let her have it. Whatever she wants. Okay? And the problem is that there's fighting because you still see right and wrong. You agree? You're fighting is I'm right, you're wrong. And the same and vice versa. That the woman says, I carried you for 9 months inside of me. I know more about you than you know yourself. At least I have 9 months more of knowledge in you, about you. And you think you know more than I? What kind of nonsense is this? So this is a problem with the Asuras and people like Anthony who says, I don't want to fight, but I think it's so wrong. So how can I be consistent with Master Shenhua's teaching? I said, you can't. You can't be. Don't pretend. Okay? So how do you deal with this? Not just his case that, well, your mom, but everyone's mom. Anyone fights your mom? Huh? Right there. Number 3. Go ahead. Mommy, speak.
Mô Phật bạch thầy, nói về đấu tranh đó, thì có người ta ỷ về tôi là đệ tử của ngài Hòa thượng Tiên Hóa, kia bằng cũng là mạnh lắm. Tôi với người ta đấu tranh đó, thì có gì Hòa thượng sư phụ đỡ cho. Cái đó là
Not true.
Cái đó là cái sai lầm.
Not
Rồi,
true. Not true at all.
Rồi có ngài Hòa thượng Tiên Hóa đó đấu tranh về những ma quỷ đồ này kia đó, thì ngài có cái sức lực, có cái định lực, thì ngài mới đấu tranh cái người đó đó, thì ngài trở lại độ cái người đó. Mà những cái người mà ý đó tôi là hòa thượng, đệ tử của Hòa thượng Tiên Hóa, người ta muốn đi đấu tranh, làm cái gì là có sư phụ đỡ cho mình, là cái đó sai lầm. Cái đó nó còn giặc nó dữ lắm nữa thầy. Con có thấy cái chuyện đó đó. Mở miệng là tôi là đệ tử của Hòa thượng Tiên Hóa. Mô Phật.
Master, I saw that there was a lot of people, they say like, oh, I'm the disciple of Master Xuanhua, so if I go fight and then Shifu will help me, he will protect me. And then Master Xuanhua fight with ghosts and demons because he has samadhi, he has the power. But those people who rely on him under the term that I'm his disciple and go fight, I don't think that works. And then probably they will be beaten up heavily.
Well, what she said is true, because before we address the Canadian international issue here, what she said is true. It's true that Master Shenhua did not intervene at all. Okay, for whatever the reasons, whatever his rationale is, I don't know, I'm not privy to that. But the people who contradicted, who disobeyed his teachings by engaging in fighting, some of them fought me, are fighting me, and will fight me, and he's not helping them. And beat the heck out of them. That's how I know. The first reaction is he behind them? Is he behind this thing here? And I said, I don't know. So Let's beat him up and see what he does. And guess what? He does nothing. Number 6. So you're right. He's not doing anything. You're stupid enough to disobey him and to violate his teachings. You get what you deserve. I will enforce it. Number 6.
From Derek, oh my God, my mom said exactly the same things Master just said. I carried you, and I know you better than you know yourself.
You know why? My mom said this exactly the same thing to me. I said, how dare you? I'm your mother. It's nothing about you that I don't know. On top, I'm Master Shenhua's disciple as well. Before you. I outranked you in every way. Then why do you go to the house, mommy? Another proof, he's not helping. You fight me, he's not helping. I enjoy that too much. Go ahead, number 3.
Mô Phật và Thầy, mình có phước làm được đệ tử Hòa Thượng Tiên Hóa, làm đệ tử được Hòa Thượng Tiên Hóa thì mình phải gắng tu làm sao là từ bi hỷ xả đồ, làm những cái rất là tốt để mình làm, Thầy ngày mới giúp mình nữa. Rồi miễn mà mình làm ý tới tôi rằng đệ tử của Ngài Hòa Thượng Tiên Hóa rồi gặp ai ấy đấu tranh hoài rồi thì ngày cũng bỏ lơ thôi. Mô Phật.
So, Master, I think like if you are the disciple of Master Xuanhua, you should practice to be like kindness and compassion and all other things to be his. And then if you are the good person like that, then he will help. But if you only rely on the name that I'm Master Xuanhua, and then you go around, you fight, he won't help anyway.
Yeah, whatever he does. I have no clues what he's up to. Okay, he hasn't told me. He died before he told me anything important. To believe that he's still around and is nonsensical. He's around to support you and help you do what you're supposed to do. Then why did he die in the first place? He died because he said, I'm done. Good luck. I'm out of here. Now it's up to you. Do your job. So don't expect, me to help your disciple and say, oh, you're taking refuge with us. Actually, you're taking refuge with Master Xuanhua. That's her brother told me that. I said, I chuckled. Say what? What kind of nonsense is this? The Qin generation, her generation, went over there and said, I'm taking refuge with Master Xuanhua. I said, wait a minute. The guy is dead. How can you take a refuge with a guy dead when the bunch of people are still alive there? So her generation, the Qin generation, they think the disciple of Master Xuanhua, what kind of baloney is that? Just checking. Okay, usually, sometimes he hits me in the head. You idiot. So it's nonsense. He's done. If you come now, you take refuge with your 3rd generation. I'm 2nd generation, meaning he's my teacher. But she cannot claim that Master Xuanhua is her teacher because she's a 3rd generation. It's insulting to me. You understand? I was there first. I was there before you. Like my mother was there before me. Understand? It's nonsense. It's so stupid. I don't get it. My immediate reaction, he's dead. How can you claim that you're taking, you're his disciple? You're 3rd generation. You're not his disciple. What kind of nonsense is that? Be responsible. Like I'm responsible for you. You screw up, it's on me. Understand? I cannot say, oh, I'm doing this for Master YongHua. Oh, it's not my fault. If you screw up, I pay. Give the old monk a break. Come on, he's done. Give him a chance to retire or go have fun or something. Bahamas or something. 2.
I was just curious, is refuge being offered under Master YongHua currently?
In their generation, yeah.
But
Because her brother, Danny, he says, I'm a disciple of Master YongHua just like you. I said, oh, excuse me?
but who's offering that?
Because in the ceremony, they said, I'm accepting you as disciple on behalf of Master YongHua. And my problem with that is that, did he give you permission? How dare you? He gave me my clothes as a goal. That's mine. From him. No one can touch it. You understand? Except him. No one. You didn't give it to me. How dare you touch it? How dare you take it from me? It's not yours to take. Yes.
Master, my understanding is, like my neighbors that went over there, I think they do think that. They do think that he's...
It's not our problem.
I just thought that was...
It's just
that's
one
the way.
person's opinion. It's my opinion, and my humble opinion. It's nonsense. The guy is dead. Come on, give him a break. Okay, let's talk about mothers. So another difficult topic. Problem on this kid here is that he's fighting. He's an asura. And the mom is clearly an asura herself as well. Asuras give birth to asuras. You know that there is a connection. So you have a asura son fighting asura mom. What else is new? Because asuras think they're right. They love to prove they're right. So recognize that as the automatic response when someone comes and provokes you. It's not about non-fighting. It's about when you have this thought, let's fight. Then you have to recognize you are violating the teaching. That's stupid. You get to Canada, you keep on fighting. Every time you fight, you forgot the fact that every time you raise your fist, you're violating the teaching, meaning you really don't believe in the teaching at all. So whose fault is it, your mom or you? Instead, may I propose, instead of fighting your mother, love her. Here's mom. What do you want from me? Take it. It's not without you, I wouldn't be here. It's all yours. What do you want? What do you want from me? Please take it. I will not fight you. I love you. I'm your son. Love wells in my heart for you. 6.
This is from Alta D. Master, both my parents are lawyers and are extreme assurers. They are constantly fighting, and I try not to get in the middle of it. How do I deal with it?
Run away from home. It's not too late. Yet. Six, yeah.
From Alta D. I can see that most of the time they are both wrong and acting immature. Sometimes I tell them, but they get extremely offended when I point out their faults. So I mostly ignore it. Is this okay?
He's my disciple? One of my disciples? Thank you, Lord. I have many more.
It's Andres.
He took refuge
Yeah,
with Master XuanHua?
with Master.
There's the answer. Go take refuge at Master XuanHua. I'm having too much fun. Oh, it's not fair. I'm not supposed to have fun. I'm supposed to suffer. What do you do now? What do you do when your parents fight? Is that the first time that they fought? The answer is no. When was the last time they fought? This morning. And before this morning, last night. And before last night, you got the drift? Huh? They fight because that's who they are. What is the matter with you? You're the son. Let them fight. It's more fun. It's just like, I don't like that. I don't like my parents to fight. This is not right. This is counter to the Dharma. They're not Buddhists. Let them fight. Now all of a sudden, you guys go home and say, hey, Dad, Mom, you can't fight, And this is the ultimate wisdom. You can't fight. The wisdom, Andres, is for us, not for your parents. 3.
Mô Phật và Thầy, Ngài Hòa Thượng Tiên Hóa nói đó, làm đệ tử của Ngài Hòa Thượng Tiên Hóa phải tu đàng hoàng, không tu đàng hoàng đó thì người đó đệ tử của Ngài đó đọa địa ngục rồi, sư phụ cũng không có đi cứu đâu. Thầy mình coi ở ngoài đời đó thì cũng vậy, con ngỗ nghịch với cha mẹ ngỗ nghịch với con, mà con mẹ đó giết con đó thì mẹ cũng phải đi ở tù mà chứ không có buông tha. Là cái đó là rất là hay. Bởi vì mình thấy cái gì là cũng một công bình hết, chứ không phải là nó nị làm vua khỏi tội làm vua cũng phải tội nữa. Ok, mô Phật.
Master, I know that Master XuanHua said, you, my disciple, if you are my disciple, you need to cultivate and be a good person. If you don't cultivate, even if you fall into the hell, I will not rescue you. So same thing here in the world, when a child didn't treat the parents right, and then even when the mom killed the child, she will be punished and go to the prison. So that is just the fairness. Nobody can be above the law.
Very good. Let me ask you this. It's their problem. Who cares? Okay. None of our business. Whether they take issue with Master XuanHua or not, irrelevant to us. But let me ask you this question, especially the monks and nuns. Hang on, Q&A. I need to finish my chain of thought before I forget. My concentration very fragile, by now. What do you want to say again? Okay, Q&A, go ahead.
This is just a quick comment, Master. I believe Anthony believes the 6th Patriarch Sutra, it said anger and joy are opposites. This is just a quick comment.
Yeah. That's why for someone not to fight, there must be someone who fights. So I fight for you not to fight. Okay? All right. So let me ask you, monks and nuns. By the time I'm done, you have a lot, you have endured a lot of things already. So you have this thing called the brotherhood or the sisterhood of being a Xian. I'm asking all of you now, Korea and everyone, Xian and everyone, okay? By the time I'm done, if you're still around, you're part of this sisterhood, brotherhood of Xian, okay? A small group of sanghas called Xian, right? Right now I'm protecting you, because it's my job. But after I'm done, who's going to protect you? More specifically, after I die, some of you will make mistakes and go to the hells. Okay? And that should be the case. Don't bother praying to me. I'm out of here. Okay? And I mean it. I don't care. You can cry. You can, burn a lot of gold, paper gold. I'm not going to be tempted. My point here is that some of you will get in trouble. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? If you do nothing, here's what's going to happen to you. The world, not just the other people who don't know better, the world will know that you, Xian people, allowed your peer, your sister, your brother to go to the hells and are incapable of helping that person. You are a failure. Because when I'm alive, I don't let it happen. Unless you didn't get a period for 49 days. Just a commercial. My point here is that, would you stand by and do nothing if your brother and sister is rotting in the hells? I'm asking you. If you do that, how can your disciples have faith in you? How can they? You can't even help your own kind. How can you help me? They would say. Are you listening? Collectively, you're going to have that problem. Like they have that problem over there right now. What are you doing? You talk about the Dharma, you talk about how wonderful it is, enlightenment, but you cannot even help your own kind. How can you help me? I don't believe you, whatever you tell me. You can't even help your own kind. There's some people out there that's going to think like that. I said, this kind of stuff you're selling is not for me. I'll be one of those. We talk a lot, but you have your brother and sister who's suffering incredibly down there. What are you doing? You talk about repentance. You talk about, Earthstore Bodhisattva Dharma. You talk about enlightenment. What are you doing to inspire faith in me that I'm going to benefit from it? The Westerners are very tough. They're not like Asians who say, I'm taught to donate to Triple Jewel. I'm taught to believe in Bodhisattva and so forth. The Westerners, especially the kids of your Asian followers, they're all asking that question. They said, what are you doing for me? If you can't help your own kind, how can you help me? First thing in Buddhism, how to inspire faith. Before they spoke Dharma at all, any Dharma at all, says, you got to believe this. You can believe this. The Chinese don't want to emphasize this, but we must emphasize. You hear, boys and girls? If for Mahayana to become stronger here in this 21st century, we need to take care of this thing called faith. It's by results, by actions, not by words, by promises, by criticism. Oh, it's a bad person, I'm better. By default, because he's bad. Oh, she's bad. What kind of nonsense is this? Safe living beings. That's how they have faith. Yes? Do something. Cut an arm. Give your heart. Do something. So are we done with mommy? Huh? Mommies? It's this Canadian guy is fighting. He's an asura and fighting the mom who is also an asura. And it's time that he should remember his teacher's teaching. No fighting. Let mommy win. It doesn't matter at what price. It's mommy. You cannot lose to mommy. You cannot win over mommy. Mommy always wins. So turn your fighting heart into, how can I say in a way that's not sexist? A heart of love. Love your mommy. I'm so glad you're fighting with me. It helped you live longer. Or, mommy, I love when you and dad fight because you show me that, it's perfectly okay to fight with my wife in the future. I love her long enough. I will fight her. Like you two love each other, mommy and daddy. Instead of criticizing them, instead of saying they're wrong in fighting, think at the right things they're doing. They're still together. That's why they fight. Have you thought of that? How can they stay together? They don't fight. Fighting sharpens the teeth. You guys always look at such a negative thing. To me, fighting is such a beautiful thing. From a Sura perspective. It's something that Anthony cannot relate. He says, I'm not a Sura. I don't know what you're talking about. See, the teaching is for you. It's not for people like me. I need to fight to feel alive. Okay, number 4. You learn so much from look. Oh my God, time is up already. Can I finish this thing here? This is so important. Before I forget, you asked me to say, what did you want to say last week? I said, when you quote something, please tell me whose mouth is it? I don't listen like you. You say, oh, President so-and-so, oh, Secretary so-and-so, oh, Einstein says so-and-so. No. I look at you and say, what level are you to dare talk to me that way? So this host is very important. Part of this credibility is the host. You can trust this person or not. Has a hierarchy of speakers. Buddha's number one. Okay? When Buddha speak, listen. Don't have any doubt. Not Buddha, it's okay to doubt. Huge difference. Don't waste time. Okay? When the Buddhas are always right. Next, I'm always right. Yeah. Okay, thank you guys. We stop here.